4 people were diving in an underwater cave, but they suddenly got lost when they returned. Some of them mistakenly entered a route they had never been to. When they realized that they had taken the wrong path, the gas they used for breathing was about to reach the warning line. Several people hurriedly began to rush back, but a disaster was waiting for them ahead. This is what we are going to talk about today, the Kalimba Cave incident in Mexico. Kalimba is actually one of the many cenotes in Mexico, part of the White Cave system. It is located south of Cancun in Tulum and on the west side of the Mayan ruins. The entire cave system is 386 kilometers long, making it the second longest cave in Mexico and the third longest cave in the world. In ancient times, these cenotes were called the gateway to the land of the dead by the Mayans, but in modern times, most of them have become scenic spots. Under the cenote is a huge cave system, and groundwater fills the cave completely. These waters eventually flow into the Caribbean Sea. The cave is colorful and full of strange rocks, so it has become a paradise for many cave diving enthusiasts. The cave below Kalimba is not deep, with an average depth of only about 10 meters. However, because there are many forks in the cave, it is still very dangerous to go in blindly.
On December 9th, 2004, a pair of friends from the United States prepared to enter this cave to explore. They were 53-year-old Kent Hussey and 37-year-old Mike Nast. Kent is a dentist and Mike is a lawyer. Both are high-income people. Because there are many people who want to go into the cave for diving, the tour guide assigned them and a 53-year-old couple as a group based on the gas consumption rate. Among the 4 people, except Mike, they have rich diving experience. The cave route under Kalimba Tiankeng. It is already quite mature. 3 guide ropes have been arranged inside, namely the red, purple, and yellow ones. Kent and his friends are going to swim on the red and yellow ones. According to the plan, the tour guide will lead the less experienced people as the first group to start, and Kent and his friends will follow as the second group. The tour guide will arrange arrows while swimming. When they reach the nail intersection, they will use 2 ropes to connect the red line and the purple line, and the purple line and the yellow line, and attach arrows to guide the second group. At the same time, when the 2 groups pass by, they will leave their own identity marks on the ropes here and drive them when they return to indicate that the group has passed. After arranging all this, the tour guide will lead the first group to continue swimming forward. They will stay at the end of the yellow line, the Boston Tiankeng, for a while. After returning to the original route, half an hour after entering the water, the second group of 4 also came to the nail intersection. They found the yellow line smoothly, according to the arrow. Because Kent and Mike had already swam to the end 2 days ago, and they didn't carry that much gas this time, so the 4 of them didn't plan to swim to the exit of the Boston City Tiankeng. Instead, they swam a few dozen meters past the nail intersection and returned to the original route. In this way, the second group was in front and the first group was behind. After returning to the nail intersection again, Kent from the second group took back their group's sign, but then they made a fatal mistake. Instead of turning right, they turned left and entered the route where the purple stealth was. I don't know why, in the next 25 minutes, none of the 4 people realized that they had taken the wrong path. It is very likely that they only cared about taking pictures along the way. After swimming for 426 meters, they realized something was wrong because their invisibility had reached its limit, but they had not yet reached the cenote. Kent had been to this area before, and he knew that there was another cenote not far ahead that could lead them out. In fact, there was an exit ahead, and it was only 91 meters away. But without a rope to guide them, it would be easy to get lost, so Kent asked the 3 to wait. He took out a roll of rope he had brought with him, connected it, and decided to explore the way ahead alone. But at the same moment, his friend Mike panicked, and he turned around and went back the same way without even saying hello. When the remaining couple saw this, they also turned back with him. They left Kent alone to explore ahead, but Kent didn't swim far, because the rope in his hand was only more than 20 meters long. After swimming, he didn't dare to take the risk and had to turn back. Then he found that the other 3 had already left, so he quickly accelerated to catch up. At this time, the first group had just arrived at the T-junction. The tour guide saw that the identification sign of the second group had been driven away, so he thought they'd gone back, so he removed the two connecting ropes. This was done to avoid misleading other divers. After all this, the first group continued to swim towards the exit. At this time, the second group was still swimming towards the T-junction. Mike was in the front. He swam very fast because of fear, and the couple was left far behind him. But this also accelerated his gas consumption. Kent finally caught up with the couple. The husband of the two had to share an oxygen tank with his wife because he consumed gas faster. In the place with a larger bend, the husband held his breath and swam over first, and then waited for his wife to come over and regulate his breathing. This is another reason why the two fell behind Mike. The four of them finally came to a T-junction. This was a place they were more familiar with. Although the tour guide had taken away the connecting rope, they still found the way back with their memories. Mike in front was in trouble at this time. He was too panicked and swam too fast, causing the gas in his body to be exhausted soon. If he wanted to get out, he had to share the cylinder with others. Mike had to stop and wait for them. After a while, the couple swam over first, but they were already sharing an oxygen cylinder. Mike had to continue waiting for Kent. Originally, Mike was the fastest one, but he had to wait until the end to get out. Finally, his good friend Kent came over. Although Kent didn't have much gas left, he still gave a gas regulator to Mike without saying a word. After that, the two of them also shared an oxygen tank and started to rush back. The couple successfully passed through the fault line and the gap line. On the way, they saw a light behind them and thought that Kent and Mike were following behind. Finally, they leaked out of the water and successfully met up with the first group. At this time, the oxygen tanks of the two were almost bottomed out. If it was a few minutes later, the two might not be able to get out. When the tour guide learned that Kent and Mike were still behind, he immediately took the oxygen tank to meet them. In case they ran out of gas, he could still support them. He saw a light 76 meters away from the exit, but when he went over, he found that the two had suffocated to death. The bodies were floating on the top of a cave. The pressure of the oxygen tanks they brought was all zero, which means that the gas was all used up. Everyone felt very sorry because they would be able to swim out in about 5 minutes. In fact, taking the wrong path was not the main reason for the incident. It was that they did not follow a relatively important gas management plan in diving, the rule of thirds. I have already talked about this in the previous video. That is, when diving, the gas in the cylinder will be divided into 3 parts. The first part is used when leaving the starting point and descending. The second part is used when returning to the starting point and ascending, and the last part is used as a backup in case of emergency. However, considering that several people got lost, there must be other reasons for the accident. That is, the reason why they did not find that they took the wrong path was because several people were only concerned with taking pictures on the road and ignored the observation of stealth and the surrounding environment. In addition, Mike, who had relatively little experience, also indirectly caused the accident. Because if he was not so anxious to return and did not swim so fast, his breathing would accelerate. So he had enough gas. But after sharing the cylinder with Kent, Kent also ran out of gas. So this accident was ultimately caused by lack of training. Cave diving is an extremely dangerous sport. You can't make any mistakes in it. If you make a mistake once, you may never get out again. Well, this video ends here. Thank you for watching. See you next time.